When you should go to the gym, when you have something like this here, if you're looking for something powerful that can run 230 watts in the field, this is the Genaray Radiance. By the way, V-mount, these things can get pretty expensive and also pretty heavy. So today we're going to be reviewing the Genaray PortaBright. And talking about light, this is actually very fun to take in the field because carrying heavy stuff, I'm getting kind of too old for this thing here. By the way, I'm trying to get this light out of here. It reminds me that you have a safety lock over here that you just push the button and then the light comes out, because just in the event of some kind of a distraction, somebody can easily get distracted, or your assistant, you can actually easily knock this light over on the ground. So even if you didn't tighten this here, this is not going anywhere. My stand is going with it, and this is not even tightened. So this is great. So remove this lock, the light is out, and this is very light, super light. You can almost hold it with your finger here. It looks like it's plastic, but no, this entire thing here, this entire housing is made of metal, aluminum, but it is extremely light. I know a lot of cinematographers in the area, and I usually see them working with something that's small, light, and portable, easy to break down and take to another location. Usually the stuff that I get is big and heavy, but I actually like it that way. But my stuff is not as easy to move and not as inexpensive as this. And speaking of portability and affordability, I also have other battery-operated Genaray products here that I have reviewed in the past. As a matter of fact, this is the Genaray PB96. I just reviewed this yesterday, and you can use this light for accents or hair light or something like that. And I also have the Genaray baton. That you can actually have an assistant there to put the light, to shoot the model here, or like, this is great for weddings. So everything portable, so you can have this light here to shine something on the background that requires more power. And also you can even attach a Fresnel accessory in the front to even concentrate the light beam, so you can actually have that shining in the background while the main subject is being lit by this thing, and this thing also in the back. So everything is portable. This light is 79 bucks. This one I think is like 300 something, I don't remember, but it's something on a similar price to this light over here. And if you need more power, this is the Genaray Radiance AK230 that runs on V-mount battery and also on AC. As a matter of fact, all these lights here, they run on AC. This the battery comes out. This battery is sold separately, by the way. Everything runs on the wall or DC power. So here's your standard Bowens reflector that you can actually mount just like any other Bowens mount. And on the picture, I didn't see this thing. I actually had to call B&H Tech Support to see if this is a cosmetic decorative piece or if I should remove this thing. So when you have this shipped, when you look at the B&H site, the picture of this product, this doesn't come, it doesn't show this thing here. So I was afraid the LED was gonna get suffocated or somehow melt this plastic, but you're supposed to leave this on. This acts like a diffuser, and also the description says instead of our square COB chip, they made this round. I think it gives you a better edge, or something like that. I think it favors a more pleasing hard light when you use this. That's on the description over there. I had this light running until the battery dies for the purpose of this video review. And when I put my hand very close to this LED lit at 100%, it did not feel hot. I mean, for some reason, I can actually keep my hand in here almost. And it doesn't really get a lot of heat, which is great. So this doesn't melt, but if you find the need to remove this somehow, this acts like a tiny little diffuser. It's like 2%, and it also makes the light prettier, because if you remove this, you expose the screws here and the soldering points on the LED. I don't like it, so I called Genaray to make sure, is this supposed to be in here or am I supposed to remove it? Because when you receive this, there's a note here, please remove the shipping stuff, and it comes with a foam here, but I wasn't sure if this was supposed to be removed as well. But if you really need to remove this for some reason, to avoid scratching your light, your ring here or breaking, put a piece of flannel here and a large screwdriver. There's a bunch of tabs here, so you can actually gently lift this thing and it will come off. To install this back, you have to observe there's larger grooves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're gonna figure this out pretty easy as soon as you look up close here to put this back. You can't really randomly put this back because it's not gonna attach, and you're gonna break those little tabs that this little diffuser has. Just so you know, be careful. And I also like how pretty this makes the front element look. And this is the same Bowens reflector that you see every single day. Attaches just like any other thing. To release, push this button here, it comes out. Under here is the umbrella mount that you can actually, my microphone is right here, so it's gonna, hold on a second. So here's your umbrella mount. You can mount right here. And here's the battery to remove. You simply press both tabs over here. The battery lifts right out. And this is the negative and positive terminals of the battery. And to put it back, you just slide this thing over here. Good to go. And also this light can also be run at 110 and 220 volts. So if you live in Europe, you're covered. If you live in US, Canada, you also, is Canada to 110, whatever. It's a 110 and 220, whatever part of the world you are. Plus you can run this on batteries. According to the manual, these batteries can lose the charge if left unused for a few weeks, between 3 to 14%. And some lithium-ion batteries, they also lose the charge, but particularly this one here in the manual, it says. So what I also recommend if you want to have the maximum longevity of any lithium-ion battery, I mean to store the battery, don't charge it more than 50% and don't charge it under 50%. Lithium-ion loves to be on a shelf at 50%. That's why most batteries that come to you from the manufacturer, they have half charge, because that's how the batteries last a long time. I particularly charge my batteries 100%, I don't care, but they tend to decrease its lifetime if it is left fully charged or super discharged on a shelf. I also made a test using my multimeter on these terminals here to see how low the voltage gets when the battery is dead, and also how much voltage it has when it is fully charged. When it is fully discharged, it should read 9 something volts, and fully charged should be about 12 and higher, but less than 13 volts. This light comes shipped with the light itself, the battery, the standard Bowen 7-inch reflector, and also the brick to power via AC. And it comes with a generous, I think 15 feet at least of cord. And this is the actual charger for the battery, in which you connect on the back here. And it also comes with its own AC cord as well. And the main AC brick over here, it supports any voltage, doesn't matter where on the planet you are. If you are in Europe, this will detect the 220 coming in, switches to 220. And if you go to the United States or Brazil, which will run 110 volts here and there, this will also switch to 110 volts. This also comes shipped with the unit. This is a color correction to tungsten, which, by the way, I've been looking for this thing online, but there's a particular name or something that I never thought about it, and I could never find it. I actually love the fact this came with this thing, so I can actually try it out because it comes with this unit. So to install this is very easy. There's 3 tabs. You just close it here instead of mess with gels. Love it. And then I actually went ahead, now I know how it's called. It's just like Bowen's mount reflector gel or whatever, and this came up. Then I got a bunch of things. I got the same tungsten that comes in case this break, which in my hands will never happen. And I can use this with another light as well. I also got the transparent and the green. So pretty cool. Now I know how it's called, and I have a whole bunch here to use along with this light. And this thing was only like 30 bucks. So here's the back of the light. I'm gonna start plugging in the AC plug over here, which is a standard XLR type of plug. To remove this, just press the tab and pull out straight. Do not wiggle. So on this side here, you have the AC. And don't switch it immediately. Just turn it off first and then turn on the DC. I actually like this green LCD display, which is pretty bright, so I have to actually turn down the exposure on my camera so you can see the numbers good. As a matter of fact, to read the display here, you either have to look at the light this way or slightly on the side. If you go past this point, you cannot read the display. Now up and down, it can let you see pretty good, but not much on the side here. So since this display is difficult to look on the side, so I have to manage a way to look at the display while I'm guiding you through here. So the LED here, it can range from 0% in 10% increments, 10, 20, 30, and so on, all the way to 100. As you can see, it gets pretty bright for a portable light with a tiny little battery. Because I'm used to V-mount batteries, but those things are heavy and expensive. But this is pretty cool. A tiny little light I can actually take under my arm here. I can go anywhere with this light. And of course, it comes with the case. This is another thing that I love about Genaray products, because there's a case for everything. Now, to turn up or down the intensity is very quick. Like a second, you are at 100, from 100 to 0. Also keep in mind, this microphone is pointing right at the light at an insane 5 inches of distance. So this is the fan noise right on top of the light at 100%. and the fan at 10%. It rotates at a slower speed at 10%, so it gradually increases when you raise the temperature. And this light, of course, is default locked to 5600 Kelvin. And over here you have your group and channel settings. Pressing this button here, it has 5 groups, A, B, C, D, E. In my case, I leave it set to B. Press the group or this button. Either one is fine. And then it jumps now to the LED brightness if you want. Now the channel, press this button. It has 16 channels. I wish it looped through the 16 and then it starts at 1, but actually no, you have to go counterclockwise. And when you switch to AC, you still see the battery at full power over there, even if you remove the battery. Just a quick observation here, the actual battery meter acts like a warning or a preview what the battery is going to look like pretty soon. So when you crank this up to 100%, you might notice that almost immediately you lose a bar already. This is just a preview. That doesn't mean your battery is at 75%. When you turn this down other than 100%, you're going to see it's going to gain those bars back, as you can see here. Now when you're shooting with this for quite a long time, when you are anywhere other than 100% and you have 1 bar, that's the time that you should pay attention where the light might actually go out on you. Now going back to this here, this is actually my favorite part, believe it or not, because every time I make a review here is a tungsten kind of lighting, okay? So when I have my 5500 Kelvin lights, it's not going to match and I have to mess with gels. So the key light here is actually a Godox SL60Y, which is tungsten dedicated LED. It doesn't do bicolor, it's a straight tungsten light. And I wish a lot of manufacturers, they make a dedicated light like the Genaray Radiance 56K, Genaray Radiance 3200K. That would be awesome. I'm not sure if developers will have the chance to even watch this video. If they are, that'll be cool because I actually have a great idea, not only for Genaray, I don't care, Aputure, Genaray, Luxley, Lupo. They should figure out a way to make an interchangeable LED, the same way some cameras allow you to even change the sensor or also the EF or PL mount. So it comes with a little Allen wrench that you can actually remove the mount out of there, right? The bayonet, the thing that mounts the lens. Imagine if manufacturers, they just have the whole thing set up to be detachable. All the electrical components, they're already ready to receive this. Instead of buying a bicolor light, and monolights usually they are not bicolor because of the chip on board here. And even if that was possible, you will have to share between daylight and tungsten, which you lose the light to half of the power. So this is a daylight fixture. Just order the actual LED that comes with the whole hardware to insert in here, right? And then you simply change from daylight. Oh, you got tungsten light now? Tungsten bulb. Done. How cool would that be? But no. No more gels, no more like tape or C47s around. You just hook this up over here. And then turn the light on. And there you go. Tungsten lighting. So I put the light past the point where the camera is. This light is actually 9 feet or 10, safely 10 feet from me. And at 10%, look how powerful that can be on the field. So this portable little light is great. You know, if I look at it right now, I get blinded at 10%. I'm gonna show 100% at 10 feet away. And as a matter of fact, that's doing a pretty good job converting to tungsten. It's not the most sophisticated thing on the planet, but it actually, to color correct, will be just a little 3-5% here and there. So I'm pretty happy with this very inexpensive way to attach the thing to the reflector. And here's your tungsten color. If you remove the reflector, right? And notice that you don't have a lot of light loss either, you know. So when you put it back on, you know, it's pretty cool. So I don't want to guess, I want to measure this right. So I'm actually about 2 meters away, or 79 or 80 inches away, almost 7 feet away. The light meter, I am at ISO 800 at 30 frames per second. Let's see what we get here. This light is at 100% with the color correction thing on. I got exactly f8. 8.7 is almost like 3/4 of a stop that you lose with this, which is not bad at all. Let me turn the light down to 10% with and without the stain. Okay, back to 10%. I'm getting f4 with this. f4.7 is almost the 0.7, so it's 3/4 a stop without the stain here. So as you can see, it's a pretty powerful light, and when you install a modifier there, you probably will lose between 1 to 1.5, sometimes 2 stops, depending how large the softbox is. But to light things on a hard light, you already know what kind of aperture and how much power you're dealing with here. Even at 10%, you actually have pretty much 4.5 here at a 10% ISO 800. So you don't have to do the test again. You just load the ISO, it calculates for you here. Of course, I don't recommend this, but just so you know, with the dry hands, this thing is on the outlet plugged in, the actual main AC brick over here. I'm sticking my finger on this thing. I barely feel any voltage. I mean, don't lick it, but you know. So it's safe, it's not gonna get electrocuted or anything, but of course, do not touch that. But if you accidentally do, you're not gonna die, okay? The light is actually on, as you can see. Plug it in here. I'm removing the battery. Plug this baby right back here. And that's your AC there, okay? So actually, no problem, you can touch this. Remote control, of course, this light accepts remote control. Who wants to have a light 10 feet in the air and then have to lower it down, just change just the setting on the LED, right? So it takes the remote control, and it is in phase on development. It's supposed to be released, I think, in the end of the year, and this is also supposed to be a separate purchase. The name of the remote is Gen/RC, Gen like Genaray. So when I was looking at the back of this light here, it's green, it's very similar to the Genaray Powerhouse display, almost like it. And then I was thinking, what if I grab my Genaray Powerhouse? Everything is green here, so it should tell you that something might work, right? So I grabbed the remote control for the Genaray Powerhouse. If you have the remote control, good for you, because actually it works. I even called Genaray, hey, did you know this works with this light? And guess what? It works. That's the Genaray Powerhouse remote control that works with the Genaray PortaBright. All my other power lights of Monolight design, they are very heavy, and I really like the fact that this is very light. Can take this to camping or to a photo shoot, a video shoot, whatever that you want. This is very light. You can now, again, you can pretty much hold this with a finger. So I'm pretty thrilled with this light, and I hope you enjoy the light as much as I did. And I love the fact that they have this thing in front of the reflector here, because I am a tungsten guy all the way, all day long, especially in my place, which everything is tungsten. When I go to some venues, do interviews, the whole thing is tungsten. Sometimes I have to match everything tungsten. And of course I have my primary daylight design light, but when I need a tungsten, just slide this thing on here. I also made a time lapse showing how long it would take to kill this battery from the light being at 100% to 0, and another time lapse showing how long it takes to charge the battery. But the time lapse doing the charge of the battery, which is over 4 hours, I forgot to turn on the iPad's lock security thing there, so the display went off, and then I calculated the time lapse wrong. It was a disaster. But anyway, this battery takes a good 4 hours to charge, and the actual light on my test took about 58 minutes, which is technically 1 hour to deplete the battery completely. So to check out the quality of this light outputs, I'm going to be putting next here a light modifier, a lantern type of softbox, so you can see how it looks like as a main key light. And here's the light placed slightly above, 45 degrees on the side. And also here, this is how our B camera would look like in this lighting. Regarding fan noise, I pretty much assume that most of you guys are going to be using this outdoors. You're dealing with cars, birds, possibly wind and other things. So I don't think the fan noise will be that critical or important, but if you are using this indoors, you also should not worry about anything because the fan is pretty quiet unless you have the microphone like 2 inches from this light, and then any fan, even with the fan off, is going to make a fan noise. Continue with the fan noise here. This is a no-brainer. If you plan to place the mic this way here, you're gonna hear any fan from any light or anything that has a fan. The correct way to place the microphone is first away from the light, also turn into the opposite direction, if possible pan about 90 degrees, as far away as possible from the light. As a matter of fact, you see the little DJ RGB light that I have there, and the fan on that thing you can probably hear upstairs or probably 2 floors up. That's how noisy the fan is. And you can barely hear the fan, if not any. I'm at the same place, same room, same distance, and I was speaking with the microphone slightly pointing down, and the light was still there. You can't hear anything. It's just about your skills, how to manage microphone placement and a certain distance and where the microphone is pointing at, and also choosing a microphone with great sound rejection. Shotguns, if that's what you use indoors, this is not the right microphone to use because the sound reflections bouncing off the wall back to the side of the shotgun microphone, it's gonna produce a known factor as a comb filter effect. You're never gonna see such thing in a Paramount Pictures movie or any big budget movie. They always use a cardioid microphone indoors. You see the guy with the boom. You'll never see a big shotgun microphone indoors from these guys ever. It's always a microphone like this here.
Possible. How could a 12-year-old girl throw a table across a room?
Can you use a shotgun microphone indoors? Yes, you can, but it's not going to be as good as the proper microphone, which is the condenser supercardioid or hypercardioid. Listen to that fan noise. That's a lot of fan. Nice and quiet. Now I'm going to turn that back on with the microphone in the other direction. I'm also going to kill this fan here. I'm also going to be turning this off and also this off. You place the mic back here, there's the fan. As you can see, there's a big difference. It's all about managing microphone position here. Now I'm going to be turning on the fan on my main light. The microphone is pointing this way here. The light is back here. Now I'm going to be turning the microphone towards the light. You will see the difference. I'm going to be turning on the fan here. Set it to 100%. Let the fan scream here as loud as it can. Now I'm going to be taking the light over there, which is the distance that you should be doing when you're using this light indoors in a quiet room. That's the fan over here. The microphone is right here. The distance is about 4 feet. Everything that has a fan, it's off. The only fan running device is this light over here, the PortaBright, and it's actually now 4 feet away or less. I can actually reach the light. So the last place you want to aim this microphone right now is towards the light. I'm speaking right here. Now when you have a talent such as a talking head, the light is behind the microphone, the camera, everything is behind the microphone. You don't want to place the light in front of the microphone. So to avoid fan noise, if you can hear any level that will actually mess up your recording, which I don't think so, especially when I'm speaking. When I'm quiet, you hear this at 4 feet away with the microphone directly pointing at that thing. So right now the light is over here and the microphone is back here. You shouldn't be having any problem whatsoever with fan noise like this. So that's pretty much it for my review. If you enjoy the content that I create, the things that I say and how I do my reviews, usually they are long because it's beyond the review. It includes a tutorial, the whole manual on the video. It's the same thing when you spend time at the NAB or any show and have the Sony, got docs, Genaray. You're gonna spend at least an hour looking at these things. So watching my review, It's pretty much the same. You are on a couch there just chilling, but I'm actually get a lot in depth when I do my reviews. I don't do that lazy 5-minute stuff. And I also enjoy comments a lot, so I respond to every comment. So feel free to drop down a comment if you have any questions or suggestions or anything. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you for your time watching this video, and have a good day or a good night.